This past Monday, I got a chance to speak with two of TUFF's executive team members, Jess Speight and Jake McCurry, about the organization. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing great.
Good. Thanks for joining me. So I know that TUFF was founded in November of 2018. How did you guys kind of get involved with the organization and also become a part of the executive team?
So it was founded by Adam Shibley, who's from Cleveland, and he's one of our teammates. It's something that we had heard about for a while, and finally it just started off. I think Jake might have been one of the first guys that said he really wanted to help, and then Joel Huntingford, another one of our teammates, wanted to start to help, and Quiddy, and then me, and then Jared Davis, and it kind of just became like we all wanted to work on something together and work for a good cause, and this was a great way to do it.
And I think one thing to add there is Adam wanted to look for people, like obviously we're all friends and he has a large friend group, but he wanted to look for people that had different majors and were kind of interested in different things. So for example, I'm studying business, Adam's studying communications, Jess is in econ, like Joel is in engineering and he's very creative. So he wanted a group of people that was very diverse and had different interests. And I think that was largely part of the reason why he chose us to join his team.
Yeah, and then what are each of your specific positions on the team? What are your roles in the organization?
So
Yeah.
I'm the chief financial officer, so I just oversee like pretty much all the financial aspects of the organization, and then Jake.
Yeah, so I'm chief operating officer, and Adam and I kind of make up the executive team. So we look at the big picture stuff, and for example, right now we're working on the GoFundMe. We worked on the business plan together, so we worked on kind of the larger things on a broader scope.
And I know that you guys have gotten a lot of support from professional athletes, and I know that Christian McCaffrey just donated, I think, about the amount of equipment for an entire team, which is huge. How do those type of donations, big or small, kind of impact the organization's growth from those professional players?
So just so the way it kind of works is it's $3,500 to sponsor a full team, and sponsorship like includes updates. We'll give the whoever, like for example, we'll be giving Christian McCaffrey updates on like how his team's doing, and also we will tell we'll tell the team this was donated from this person, if they're willing to do that, if they're willing to be open about that they're the ones that donated, or if they want to keep it anonymous, that's fine too. But I think it means like a lot, like to the kids, to see that people are willing to donate, especially for a full team, like uniforms. Means a lot to the kids, and it means the world to them. So
Yeah, and one thing I like to add is we reach out to these professional athletes just because we play football obviously at U of M, so we have those close connections with former Michigan football players and other guys around the league because of those connections. So we reach out to them knowing that they'd be willing to speak with us, and because we're involved in sports. And speaking to the second half of your question, I think it's very impactful that these kids see professional athletes and big time players donating this cause, because it's just something that they can view as like really important to them, because they see how like professional athletes are donating to us and really care about them. So putting a face to the name, I think, is really impactful.
Yeah, awesome. And also, I know that you guys have some donations coming up soon, the Cleveland and Detroit donations. Can you tell us a little bit about the teams that will be getting those?
Yeah, I can do that. So we're donating to 4 teams in Cleveland. We're donating to 4 teams in Detroit. And the way that we kind of found those teams is we reached out to major leagues that we're in. We're in Cleveland, we're in Detroit, knowing with our knowledge that we knew that they were kind of in need. And we asked them what teams are most in need, what team is using the oldest equipment, what teams have the oldest jerseys. And based off of that, and after speaking with various coaches, we decided and pinpointed who we wanted to donate to.
And then as Michigan football players, obviously football has been a big part of your lives. How has being a part of this organization, seeing how your giving back to these underprivileged communities impacted you guys and as people or even as football players.
So it's kind of interesting because, you know, Adam Shibley's been doing this for 3 years now, but, you know, the rest of the team kind of came together. The rest of the TUFF team kind of came together recently. And we've been like working for donations, you know, working to get our name out there as much as we can, like brainstorming and planning as much as we can, you know, like making our website and just trying to make everything as legitimate as possible. So we haven't actually I'm really excited because this weekend is the first weekend since I've been a part of TUFF. We'll be able to see like where we will give the donations. You know, we've heard from Adam like the impact that it had on him. We saw pictures and stuff, but I think I'm just really excited for this weekend just to see, you know, how excited these kids are and how happy these kids are. And we'll have like a videographer there. We'll release a video for it and everything. So like personally, I can't speak from experience what it's like to see the impact, but I can tell you that I am very excited to see how everything's going to play out this weekend.
Yeah, I can speak about one experience. So we're donating next year. We're donating to a team called John Adams, and they're a high school within Cleveland. And we donated. We received Adidas soft shell helmets, which are 7-on-7 helmets. I don't know if you know what they are, but they're really thin. You use them for 7-on-7. And we donated it to that high school, and we want to learn more about them. So we spoke with them, and we spoke with 3 of their captains. And hearing what they go through on a day-to-day basis and hearing about the sport within John Adams was insane. Like, for example, we saw pictures of their weight room. They told us about their weight room, and they have 2 working benches, which are fully duct taped. They have dumbbells that are too heavy for all of them to pick up. So they really do all of their exercises with body weight. And then their uniforms are like 10 years old. They don't have lights on their stadium. They had got like practice pants and Browns practice jerseys donated to them, but they all got them stolen. And even we spoke with 3 of the captains, and they said a lot, like they've had to almost cancel or forfeit scrimmages because a lot of their players weren't wearing girdles because they were unable to afford them. And a lot of them, like you kind of take for granted what a girdle means. Like I had a nice girdle in high school. I'm sure Jess did. And I had multiple pairs of cleats. And those were something that I saw as like a necessity and were just given to me. However, for these kids, like a girdle is something that they literally could not afford. And one thing that kind of hit me hard was when we were talking to those captains, they were saying how a lot of the players can't afford to wear cleats and can't afford to buy cleats and ultimately wear cleats. And 2 of them were in a position where they had multiple pairs of cleats and they just gave them their teammates to borrow and never asked for them back. And I kind of reflected on that and thought about the amount of gloves that I went through in high school, the amount of cleats that I had. And I used all of those and never had to give them away or let somebody borrow them. So to see like at such a young age that they had 2 pairs of cleats, and one of those pairs of cleats they gave to their teammates and let them keep them was just kind of hit me hard.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, especially too, I think they really understand and appreciate the gifts and the donations that are being given to them. And obviously I've seen on the Instagram and the stories on the website, I think it's impacted these kids in their game and, you know, just personally. And then the future of TUFF, what do you think that it will look like or hope that it will look like in the next year or so?
So yeah, it started off like Adam, you know, he wanted to use his platform as a football player in high school, and then when he got to Michigan, even more so, an even bigger platform. You know, it was just easiest to start with like football donations because as we were talking about earlier, you know, through the NFL, through former teammates and everything, we have these connections where we can talk to football players and just ask for donations with something that relates to them best, which is donating to youth football programs in need. And so that was like our start, and that's where we kind of are right now. And now that we kind of laid our foundation and have our platform, like have our feet underneath us, we're really hoping to expand into some other sports, but like in particular, like women's sports is going to be huge for us in the coming years. We've talked about basketball, we've talked about volleyball, we talked about a whole bunch of sports, and it's not something that's set in stone yet, but it is definitely something that we're going to do and that we're very excited about.
Yeah, I think Jess kind of hit it on the spot. We're going to donate to 8 teams this summer, football teams. And then this upcoming winter, hopefully there will be seasons for the kids, but we're going to be donating to hopefully about, if we have the funds, to about 30 basketball teams. And we want half of those teams to be girls basketball teams and half of those teams to be guys basketball teams. And then moving away from that, we also plan to have camps next summer. So we'll have free camps for kids in the city of Cleveland, kids in the city of Detroit, and also hopefully one in Ann Arbor. And then big picture wise, moving forward, we also want to have enrichment trips, specifically for the girl athletes. Adam and I spoke with Maria Taylor, and she thinks a big issue within women's sports is that a lot of these young girls don't see women on pedestals or platforms. Like, for example, you see Christian McCaffrey all over the place. You see him on TV, you see him on billboards. You see people like Mike Trout or LeBron, like you see them everywhere. However, you really don't see women athletes playing in front of hundreds and thousands of people or having them receive like large amounts of money from different companies. So to have these girls come and see a basketball game at Michigan or see a volleyball game and see all these people like cheering for those girls and realizing that because you are athletic and if you work hard, you can get a scholarship and play in front of thousands of fans, like that could be very impactful in moving throughout their life. So I think that's definitely one area we want to expand to, given that we have the funds and, we're able to make it happen.
Awesome. Thanks so much for talking with me today, and good luck with your GoFundMe page and everything else you have in the future. And hopefully we'll be able to get a couple of sports seasons this fall.
Yeah,
thank you so much.